Hey everyone, welcome back to Geshkatoon. My name is Devin. Today we're going to be talking about part 3 of our 3-part video series discussing the construction and installation of an insulated in-ground pool along with a shipping container pool building. For part 1, we talked about the excavation and construction of the actual pool all the way up to the final concrete pour. For video number 2, we discussed how I actually got the shipping container up onto the footings, as well as installation of the electrical and plumbing for the pool system, and finally, the liner installation, and some of the hiccups we had along the way. For part 3, we're going to be talking about finishing of the interior of the shipping container pool building, as well as the furniture that I constructed in there. So that's going to be cutting out some of the shipping container walls, the structural reinforcement that we had to do as a result of cutting out those portions, and how we just finished everything overall. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so before I dive into the construction or why I'm dragging these big chunks of flat bar up onto the roof of the shipping container, I should probably talk about our first major setback that we had during the beginning of part 3 of the construction, and that was when my black German Shepherd Sequoia decided to run out into the middle of the highway and broke her leg quite severely. So that was obviously quite a timely and fiscally significant setback for us. Despite it being a fairly lengthy recovery time, Sequoia did make a full recovery and she is happy and healthy today, as we can see here. All right, let's dive back into the construction. So the reason I was bringing those steel flat bars up onto the roof of the shipping container is because the engineer called for a continuous run of 3/8 thick by 6-inch wide flat bar steel to be fillet welded the entire length of the shipping container to its top flat plate there. So we had to butt weld 4 pieces of the flat bar together, then drop it down over the edge, leaving enough exposed that we could do a proper fillet weld to meet that standard. In addition to the steel reinforcement, the engineer also called for heavy wood reinforcement around the openings that would be cut in to not only support the doors, but also help support the container. The container was attached to the wooden members via lag screws. The ceiling was all framed in with rough-sawn 2x4 lumber that was bolted to the exterior walls of the shipping container, with joist hangers to span in between. Rough-sawn 2x4s were also used to support the wall cladding that was used to cover up the electrical running on the back wall of the sitting room. With all of the structural reinforcement done, it was time to cut out the walls of the shipping container where the doorways would be, then install weatherproofing and all of the doors. With the doors all installed and the outside cladding all completed, it was time to finish the interior. This involved finishing the rest of the ceiling, laying down flooring, and building the furniture. It is worth noting that all of the lumber used on the inside of the pool house, except for the structural members, were all pieces of lumber that were procured off of my family property, milled by my father, and planed and finished by myself. And so this concludes part 3 of our 3-part video series discussing the construction and installation of my in-ground pool and pool house. As I stated before, but I do want to reiterate it, for most of our videos going forward, they are going to be more videos and less of this slideshow presentation style. So hopefully you guys will be able to get to see me utilizing some work techniques, that kind of stuff, and it should be a little more exciting. Thank you so much again for joining me on this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.